We're going to actually bring up 3 presenters. Each one is going to have only 5 minutes. We're going to bring them up one by one to present their startups and their personal experiences. These young people represent the future. They have some amazing stories. It's only 5 minutes. We'd love for you to hear each one of their stories and their startups. The first one coming up to the stage right now is Adrian Grant, the founder and CEO of SenaTV.com. Please give a warm welcome to Adrian.
We're here today to talk about the largest untapped opportunity in new media, and that is hip-hop buzz. What's hip-hop buzz? It's essentially content that goes viral that comes from urban culture. So I'll give you a couple of examples. Last year, a couple guys down south created a couple dances, Whip and Nene, and over the span of 12 months, they racked up over 1 billion. Oh, someone's giving an example over there?
Not as cool anymore.
Yes, that's cool. Well, this is what happens when things go mainstream, right? Racked up over 1 billion views, and you know it goes mainstream when you have presidential candidates using it to show that they're hip and they're with it. And urban buzz isn't just dance; it's also permeating language. So, a quick show of hands: how many folks here are familiar with the term "on fleek"? Wow, so way more people than I'm used to getting. Can someone shout out what it means? Definition? Just shout it out. It's on point. On point, exactly. And of course, it also went viral, and it started to show up in the brand messaging of companies ranging from JetBlue to CoverGirl to a slew of other brands, right? Because they want to be relevant. They're also with it. I enjoyed this just as much. And the reason why they're doing this is because they're all trying to speak to, of course, millennials, right? The 80 million of them that are the young folks, incredible spending power, but specifically, they're trying to reach the 43% of which were African American and Latino. Let that sink in for a bit. Almost half of all millennials are minority. If this makes this generation the most racially diverse of all time. And this group is just a small composite of a much larger hip-hop generation, which is pegged at hip-hop market, which is pegged at over $500 billion in spending power. Like I said, this audience creates a tremendous amount of content, memes that go viral, like this one, which I find to be very accurate. But right now, this one? It's pretty accurate. But right now, to find this content, you either have to follow me on social media, or you have to find a hashtag through the billions of posts that are on Twitter and Instagram. It's this very fragmented kind of experience. And that's what we're solving for with Sena. Sena is the first destination for hip-hop buzz. We make it easy to find viral content coming from this culture, whether you're on mobile, web, and connected devices. And we're not just a place to find this content. We're actually enabling these creators to monetize and distribute their content. We recently launched a public alpha, which is available on iOS and Android. I know a lot of folks here have smartphones. You could take out the phone, type in SENNA and download it to kind of see what I'm talking about. And the app does a couple things. First, it makes it easier to connect with other folks interested in this content. Of course, it makes it extremely easy to find this what's trending right now. What's that?
Ask Rachel.
Yeah, like Ask Rachel. Let's see if you're familiar with some of the memes. You should be giving this presentation. Also, we have a dedicated section where you can find multimedia, because this audience, of course, creates a tremendous amount of multimedia. And first and foremost, we have a featured section where we highlight, here's what's hot at the moment that everyone gets to see. We're making people stars. We're excited to share that we're actually launch partners for upcoming home media device that we're legally contracted not to say who the company is, but it's a company everyone here is very familiar with, so I'll breeze right by that one. And we've launched a couple weeks ago. We've already onboarded over 20 content partners, ranging from folks like 50 Cent and Nick Cannon and Amber Rose, to brands like Interactive One, who over the next couple weeks are going to be providing exclusive content and promoting Sena across their other social platforms. Our team has an incredible amount of domain expertise, over 10 years in media. We've helped scale architecture at BET. We've leveraged this demographic for successful sales partnerships with Amazon, Hulu, and Google. We've recruited some of the best talent out of General Assembly, and we've worked at The Source and Complex, just to name a few places. We recently graduated from the Druid Accelerator program. Of course, we're hiring. That's a huge hint to a lot of you Flatiron School folks in here. We're looking for developers. Yeah. Email me, tech@senatv.com. We're looking for interns, we're looking for freelancers, full-timers. If you're talented and you're interested in this kind of content, we'd love to talk with you. And we're also looking for partners. So if you're a media company, or you're interested in learning more about this audience or communicating with them, we're here. And you can find us again on the app stores at CenterTV.com. And thank you so much for your time.
I don't even want to say it because it's going to come out corny. So since I put the disclaimer out there, I can go ahead and do it now. That presentation was on fleek, man. Next up, it was on point. I actually checked the amount of time. He nailed it, hit so many key points. Venture capitalists, raise of hands. Any VCs in the house? Okay. Anybody that wants to work for Senna, raise your hand. You heard it. Email them. Do not take that lightly. People like that put out requests all the time, and like 1 out of 10 will actually put in an email. So don't just be that one or be the other 9. All right, up next, we're going to have Suma come up to the stage, and we are going to have her present. Suma Reddy is going to present a company she's co-founded, Waddle, W-A-D-D-L-E. And by the way, Suma is here, and she's recently participated at Demo Day at the White House, which is a big, big deal. So we are so honored that she is here joining us tonight. Let's give her 5 minutes to hear everything about Waddle.
So hi everyone, my name is Suma Reddy. I am one of the co-founders of Waddle, a fun new discovery application to help you find the best places to go through your friends. So you might ask, why through your friends? Well, it's because we believe that one recommendation from a friend is much more powerful than 1,000 recommendations from strangers. So in that way, we're kind of like a Yelp you can actually trust. So without further ado, here's a glimpse into Waddle via video.
Welcome to Waddle. Waddle lets you discover the best places to go through your friends. From modern art museums and trendy gastropubs to scenic parks and cozy coffee shops. Get recommendations not from strangers, but from your trusted friends. Save and organize your favorite places in customized folders. And leave your footprints at the places you go with a rating, review, and photos. And what goes around, comes around. So inspire your friends and suggest a place for them to go. Already have previous check-ins? No problem. We seamlessly integrate with social platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and Swarm, so you can turn all of your old check-ins into Waddle footprints. So what are you waiting for? Waddle it to discover all sorts of new places. Because who gets you better than your friends?
Cool, so now let's take a look at how maybe one of us might waddle. So this is Lynn here. You might recognize her from the video. She's also my co-founder, NJ's fashion blogger friend. And like a lot of us in New York, she's looking for love. And she thinks she's found it, this guy named like Brad something or other. And even though I'm a lesbian, I have to admit he's kind of cute. And Lynn agrees. So the question now is, where do they go on their first date? So Lynn waddles it. She gets onto Waddle, hits the Discover tab, and types in West Village. And what pops up is a really neat list of the places her friends have rated and reviewed. Upholstery Store looks kind of interesting to her because it has an average rating of 5. So she jumps in. And she can get a ton of information here, menu, directions, even Yelp and Foursquare ratings. But she's really interested in her friend Corinne's review. So she wants to learn more. Corinne loves the place, rated it 5 stars, and says it's great for dates. So Lynn is sold. So Lynn and Brad gallivant off to Upholstery Store and have a great time. After the date, Lynn really wants to save this place and share it with her friends. So she gets back onto Waddle, rates it 5 stars, pops in a cool picture, and writes a glowing review. Lynn has now just created a Waddle footprint. So after that amazing first date, flash forward a few months later, and Lynn and Brad are planning their first big trip together. So Lynn reaches out to her friend Janelle and is like, I need to find a place to go. So Janelle knows just what to do. She gets onto her Waddle and goes to her folders. She's just returned from a trip to Iceland where she's gone with her 3 friends and they've collaborated on this folder together. So really quickly, in a couple steps, Janelle is able to share her entire trip with Lynn. And as you can imagine, love blooms in Iceland. So there you have it. That's a quick glimpse into Waddle. So you might be asking, right, are you guys competing with Yelp? And the answer is a resounding yes. We are crazy enough to take on Yelp. And this is how we're going to do it. We have a fantastic team. And one of my goals before I jumped into Waddle, I had zero experience in tech. I really wanted to learn about technology, but also hack the diversity problem in tech. So I learned iOS at the Flatiron School, became a co-director of Lesbians Who Tech, and then recruited this fantastic team. We're still working on diversity in many ways, but NJ is our amazing cinematographer, artist, illustrator, and designer. Vishal is my first co-founder, and he's a software engineer, and Michelle is also a software engineer. In a very short amount of time, we've been able to raise seed funding, and as mentioned, had the amazing opportunity to exhibit at White House Demo Day and stand behind President Obama. And I'm really excited to announce that we're finally going to beta launch this coming winter. So I invite you guys to join our beta on www.gowaddle.com. And thanks so much, and happy waddling.
Awesome job, Suma. Awesome job. That was really great to see. So now, coming up, we are going to kind of keep this thing moving, and who's coming up next is someone that I'm thrilled to introduce. His name is Sebastian King. Now, Sebastian is a web developer at Foursquare. Now, Sebastian's going to come on and actually give us a little bit of a story. He's going to tell us a little bit about his journey in the technology world. So I want y'all to really listen and give him a warm welcome. Give a round of applause to Sebastian King.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sebastian King. Like they said, I work at Foursquare. I'm a software engineer there. And I'd like to just tell you a little bit about myself. So some background. Prior to being a web developer at Foursquare, I was driving trucks. I was driving trucks for my father's business. What made me interested in technology was the fact that he didn't have a website, and not having a web presence in this day and age is tantamount to like financial suicide. And so I decided I needed to do something about that. And so what I decided to do is try to create a website on my own. So up until that point, I had no technical experience whatsoever. I didn't even know what HTML was, which is kind of crazy to say right now, being a full stack developer. So like I went from a point of knowing nothing to being able to code something amazing. Yes, I use various online platforms to try and learn what I needed to learn in order to like create the website, but I found that it didn't help. Not that it didn't help, it did help. It gave me a strong basis, but it just wasn't enough. I had made progress, but I still needed to fill in some of the gaps that existed. These gaps being how to like set up a project or how to architect a project as well. It was just many things that I felt were missing. And so I started looking around for options. And in looking for options, I came across the NYC Web Fellowship. So the NYC Web Fellowship is a 6-month fellowship. It's an intensive. You study for 6 months. They mostly do Rails and JavaScript, and in that 6 months, you learn a lot. I applied and got accepted. It was 6 of the most intense months of my entire life. Oftentimes, my classmates, as many of you can attest to, how y'all doing? We were there for like hours, even beyond the time that we were supposed to be there. And it was very rewarding experience, and I learned a lot and made a lot of lifelong friends there. After the fellowship, I got a paid internship at Foursquare, where I worked at various projects. That started in around June, and as of right now, I am a full-time developer there for the past 2 months, starting in October. That's very nice. Yes. And so in the spirit of, some of the slides are really technical. I apologize in advance. I just want to run through like one of the things I've done recently. So Foursquare, if you don't know, like we are a location-based app. We have tips on many venues. So if you want to know information about the venue, you can check Foursquare. We give you plenty of information about the venue, closing times, things of that nature. And so one of the leading aspects is our tips. So our tips were kind of funky on the web. We took it to a tip detail page, which are kind of out of date. It didn't really have a lot of content on it that was useful for the user. And so we decided to like ramp it up a bit. And they said, you know what, you do that. And I was like, all right, I'm up to the challenge, let's do it. So going back to being a part of FatHunter, one of the languages that we use at Foursquare is Scala, which is it's just a weird language. And I come from learning Ruby, but one of the things that this program had instilled in me is the fact that it's okay to not know something, and that learning is something that is a lifelong job of a programmer. And so I just did what I had to do. I went and I learned and I created. And so this is what it currently looks like. It's kind of, and this is what we were trying to shoot for. So this is actually a venue page in the back. It's just backed out by a div, and that's like the information in the tip. So things we wanted to accomplish is full feature parity with the current implementation of the tip detail page, which means like just all the functions that they have on that page I had to put there. And all the existing links for the tip detail pages must redirect to the venue page and render the tip modal, which means that like if there's a link out there that someone hits, it needs to go to the place that it needs to currently go to. And we also wanted to run an experiment to gauge various metrics about it. Technologies used, again, JavaScript, Soy, Scala. Some of the things I had to do there. Honestly, these slides are not really that important. The most important thing is that you go check it out. If you don't have Foursquare, I think you should download the app. It's kind of awesome. You should also download Swarm, also kind of awesome. And it's currently in production, so if you have your phone, you can check it out right now. And yeah, no, really sign up. Like, sign up for Foursquare. Thank you.